I am Dr. Munish Bharadwaj from School of Engineering and Technology of IGNOU. As you remember, we were discussing about the defects in material and buildings and also the deterioration of material and buildings. And in this series, in our previous lectures, we discussed about different type of defects that may be there in material and building, and we discuss about different materials and the associated defects, in which I discussed with you about timber, concrete, reinforcing steel. Now in this lecture I'll discuss with you defects which may be there in sanitary installation and plumbing, then flooring material and floors, then problem of leakage and seepage, then how you can repair cracked beam. Such type of things I'll discuss with you in this lecture. Now, after discussing the different materials for treating cracks and defects, now we move to sanitary installation and plumbing. Defects in sanitary fittings like water closet, wash hand basins, etc. can be listed as blister, bubble, crazing, dull or eggshell finish. These are some of the defects in sanitary fittings. Defects which occur during the manufacturing process. These are dust exposed body, fire check, kiln support mark, pinholes, polishing marks, speck, spot, warpage and vari finish. While selecting the materials, due attention should be paid to ensure quality, and defective fittings and fixtures should be rejected. They should be not used for construction. In respect of bib taps, stop cocks, ball valves, floats, etc., the standard specification as per BIS must be satisfied. Means you use only those fitments which are satisfying the IS code specifications. To avoid defective functioning for items like flushing systems, proper rate of discharge should be ensured. Avoiding of self-siphonage in the flushing tanks, it must be given specific attention. Proper slope in floor of bathrooms and location of traps at correct levels will help to avoid stagnation of water. The work should be got executed through skilled artisans. This is very important. The artisans or workmen should be skilled for the fitting and fixtures in the various plumbing operations. So to get a quality work, we should go for the skilled artisans, because the skilled artisans can only ensure the quality work, because you know that workmanship is very important, and for different fittings in the bathrooms and other plumbing operations, basically the skilled workman is very much required to get the quality work. If the quality work is not done there, then what will happen? There will be leakages, seepages, and finally the deterioration of the material in the buildings. Water supply and sewage lines must be properly designed and laid with utmost care with respect to alignment, level, slopes, etc. The jointing of pipe is of great importance, because if proper joints are not provided, then there will be again leakage, and as you know that leakage will cause the deterioration of the building. Manufacturing defects in pipes must be checked before use, because there may be some manufacturing defects in the pipes, and if you are using the defective pipes, then certainly the problems will come in future, and it will damage and deteriorate the building. Pipes, both GI type or PVC, for water supply installations must be checked for the design pressure according to the prescribed test before use. As you know that there are many tests for testing of the water supply pipes. So these pipes should be checked for the design pressure, because if they are failing to bear the design pressure, then they should not be used. They are not of standard quality, they are defective then in that case, if they are not capable of taking up the design pressure. Then damages during handling and storage must be avoided. These are also one of the important damages that occur in the material while handling and storage. Handling means loading and unloading, placing in the loading and unloading of that material, during keeping the material in the warehouse. So like that, there may be damages which may occur during handling and the storage process. So these must be avoided, because these are not the manufacturing defects. These are the defects which can be easily avoided if we are taking proper care while their handling and storage. Standard practices of joining pipes in respect of flange joints, screw joints, rubber ring joints, etc. must be strictly followed. So there are many types of joints. Some are mentioned here, that in these joints, which joints? The flange joints, screw joints, rubber ring joints. So proper care must be taken while jointing the pipes, and the procedures must be followed strictly, so that there is no lack in making a proper joint, because improper joint again will cause the leakage, and leakage will finally cause the deterioration of the material and finally the deterioration of the structure. Solvent welding for jointing PVC pipes must be carried out by experienced personnel only, because if the person is not having good experience, he may not make a proper weld. So this is very important here, because joining of PVC pipes by solvent welding is not easy. Proper and periodic maintenance is necessary to ensure defect-free service continuously for a long period. If you want that your building or your structure is serviceable for a long time for its design life, then proper and periodic maintenance is very much necessary. Now let us move to the floors. Numerous types of floors are in use to suit specific requirements. For a specific requirement, you can use different type of floor, different type of material you can use for flooring. The rejection of defective materials is the first step to check failure of floors. Because if you are using a defective material, then certainly a defective floor will be constructed. So to avoid any defect in the floor, the first principle is, or the first requirement is, that you should not use the defective material for flooring. The specification given in IS code should be strictly followed to avoid cracks. As you know that certain specifications are given for flooring, so if you are following those specifications to make floor, then you can avoid cracks in the floor. In respect of floors with PVC, linoleum, etc., the manufacturer's instructions must be scrupulously followed to avoid defects, because manufacturers also give certain instructions and guidelines for use of the material. So these instructions should be followed properly, and if we are following these instructions properly, then we can make the floors which are free from defects. In construction, attention must be paid to provide a solid surface, proper surface drainage, and also appropriate joints. So 3 things are important here. First is solid surface, second is proper surface drainage, because if proper slope is not there in the floor, then there will be stagnation of water and certainly it will cause some defect there then. So proper surface drainage should be there, and also the joint. Again, joint is very important, because here we are not using a single, you can say, sheet for creating our floor. So here we have to provide joints between the different units of the floor. So here appropriate joint only can ensure the defect free flooring, which is not giving any space for seepage, leakage or cracking. So that way we can create good floors which are free from defects. In designing the floors, care must be taken about the effect of loading and environmental effects of water, wind and climate, etc. One more important thing about the floors is the loading. That you have to create a strong floor which is capable of taking the loads coming over it. So select the material accordingly, that what is the purpose of the facility which you are creating, what is the use of that facility which you are creating. Accordingly, you must select the flooring material, and the flooring has to be defect free. Now let us see the defects in stone and brick construction. Defects in masonry construction, both in stone and brick work, may lead to structural failure, rainwater splashing, leakages from sanitary and water supply installations, including drainage pipes from roof, cause deterioration of structures built with brick and stone. So these are the major causes for deterioration of structures. Again, you look at these: rainwater splashing, leakage from sanitary and water supply installations, which includes drainage pipes from roof. So these are the important causes. Another cause is sulfate attack. And where from this sulfate is coming? Sulfate attack from environment and also acids make the structures deteriorate quickly. Acidic environment and that sulfate, these are very dangerous to stone and the brick masonry. Natural weathering action is caused by rain, wind and the use of the building. So weathering occurs there because of these factors, and improper design may also result in cracks. If these buildings are not properly designed, then also the cracks may result in the buildings or the structures made of stone or brick masonry. However, most of the defects are attributable mainly to poor construction practices. Ultimately, we are coming back to the construction practices. Means if good construction practices are followed, what are these good construction practices? use of good material, workmanship should be good, so that we can create defect-free facility. But if poor construction practices are followed, which may include the poor quality material, poor workmanship, that way the defects are bound to come to the structure. In order to prevent defects, utmost attention in construction practices is required at all stages of construction. Ensuring proper bond, using throw stones and avoiding vertical joints are essential. This we are talking with reference to the stone masonry. That in stone masonry, proper bond you can ensure by using the throw stone and avoid the vertical joints. Means joints should not be in a line, staggered joints should be there. So that way you can ensure a strong stone masonry work. At junctions of main and cross walls, effective bonds are required. In case of partition wall, proper toothing is a must, because it is the way of joining the two walls. So when you are providing the partition walls, then this should be done by the process of toothing. It will ensure the proper connection between the two walls. The selection of good quality materials and tests required to qualify the acceptability must be earnestly carried out. So this is the importance here, that selection of good quality material and the test for quality. These are the two things which one should take care of. One should follow earnestly, then only you can ensure the quality work, quality construction. Then let us see what are the repair materials that are generally used. The repair materials that are generally used are tar plastic compounds as caulking compound, hydroplast, a bitumen dispersion, then Sika Guard, it is a, you can say, brand name, epoxy or polymer coatings, nitro mortar and epoxy resin, then centricide powder. What is this? A polymer based grout for injection. So these are the different repair materials which are used for repairing of the damaged parts or the damaged elements. Now let us move to effect of dampness and leakage. What defects are caused due to the dampness and the leakage? The presence of water affects the qualities of timber. Water penetration induces corrosion in concrete and reduces its strength. So first we saw for timber, then for concrete. Seepage of water into the foundation causes its failure. Means if seepage of water is there into the foundation, it can cause the failure of the foundation. Also, dampness in walls and floors of a building affects the health of residents. You know that if the walls and floors are always damp, then there may be many diseases to the residents, and especially which are related to their respiration. Respiratory problems may be there. You may feel problems in breathing. You may suffer from different diseases which are related to breathing basically, and other diseases also. Leakage through the roof of a building depicts bad image of the person in charge of the construction. If there is a leakage from the roof of a building, means this is really a poor construction. Proper waterproofing has to be carried out according to the requirements to protect the structure from leakage. So what is the remedy? That waterproofing. We must ensure the proper waterproofing so that there is no leakage of any moisture or water. If damages and leakages are allowed, what may happen? The structure deteriorates and ultimately collapse. It may create havoc. Now let us deal with dampness. Dampness in buildings is generally due to bad design, faulty construction and use of poor material. These are the three main reasons for dampness in the building. Either design is bad or construction is faulty or poor quality of material is used in the building. Structures built on high ground with proper drainage are far less liable to suffer from foundation dampness than those built on low-lying waterlogged area. That foundation dampness may not occur for the structures which are situated at a higher ground and which are having a proper drainage system. But if the structures are built in low-lying waterlogged areas, then certainly dampness will cause many problems. In such locations where a subsoil of clay or peat is commonly found, dampness will inevitably rise unless properly treated. Means if your structure is located at locations where clay and peat soil is there, the problem of dampness will be more, because you know that clay and peat are fine grained soil and these soils are having number of voids less and does not allow water to move quickly. So water remains there for a longer period in the soil and it causes dampness there in the structure. A subsoil through which water can easily pass through, such as gravel or sandy soil, will usually keep the foundation fairly dry. Here, if gravel or sandy soil is there in the subsoil, then as these are having large voids, so water can pass through quickly through them and the foundation will remain fairly dry. So that way that dampness of foundation problem will not be there. In coastal towns, buildings are particularly prone to dampness because of high humidity and salt particles in the atmosphere. You know that in coastal regions humidity is very high and also salt particles are also present in the atmosphere. So there they are prone to dampness. If the construction elements contain salt water, it is absorbed easily and result in damage. Because if salt is there in the water, then after absorption, what will it do? It will damage the material and thereby the building. Now let us see leakage. Leakage generally occurs in toilet blocks from sanitary fittings. In new constructions, leaks are due to permeability of the concrete due to use of substandard quality of materials, improper compaction and use of salt-rich sand. These are the three factors which contributes to the permeability of concrete. Where the subsoil water is not properly drained, the hydrostatic pressure causes water to enter through the foundation. The same is the case where proper area drainage is not taken care of due to collection of water around the building. If due to poor drainage system or poor drainage arrangements, the water will be collected around the building and there these problems will be there. Then how we can treat the dampness and leakages? what are the remedial measures or preventive measures? Engineering practice has well established numerous devices and procedures for effective treatment against dampness. Various waterproofing methods have also been developed through the years. The principle involved in waterproofing is closing the voids in the building elements by use of chemicals which expand inside and close the pores, or effectively covering the structural elements with water repellent materials and layers. So this is the basic principle, and this principle has been in use for centuries, even before the evolution of cement. And what was used in that time when the cement was not there? Lime has been used for mortar for building water retaining structures. Lime has the property to expand due to formation of calcium carbonate, thus filling the voids. On the other hand, cement has the property to shrink and lead to formation of voids. So this is the problem basically, because due to shrinkage of cement or cement concrete, here formation of voids occur, and because of that this problem of leakage and dampness occur there. Whereas in case of lime, the case is reverse. It expands due to formation of calcium carbonate, so there are no voids left after hardening. The effective use of lime can be understood from the standard established method of roof waterproofing using brickbat, coba and lime. So you know that for doing the waterproofing of roof, what we use? Brickbat, coba and the lime. And this utilizes the property of the expansion of the lime on hardening due to the formation of calcium carbonate and filling the voids. Even in other recent waterproofing systems, combination mortar, which is made of lime and cement, is used in preference to cement mortar alone. Numerous waterproofing chemicals and systems have been developed. The recent one is the use of polymers for this purpose. Polyurethane is found to be very effective to serve as waterproofing layer. This is an effective material to waterproofing purpose. Now, another defect and the remedial measure is related to the cracked beam. How we can strengthen a cracked beam? The distress in the structures and in the components of building is common, while the appearance of the cracks is alarming and may instill fear in the minds of the user. Anticipating failure of the structure on many occasions, the structures could be repaired and restored. Means here the stress is being given that if there are some cracks in the beams are there, it is still repairable. The structure can be repaired and restored. So the knowledge of strengthening method is quite necessary to tackle the damaged element of the building. The causes for the distress of a structure should be analyzed properly, and the methods to be adopted to repair the component should be decided, because the method for repair and maintenance will depend upon the analysis and the reason for or the cause for the damage or deterioration of the structure. Accordingly, we will adopt the method for repair and maintenance. So for that purpose, a proper analysis for the cause of the distress of the structure is necessary. After evaluating the various methods, the cost effective and correct course of action should be taken, because there are different materials available, there are different methods available. So after evaluation different methods and keeping in view the cost effectiveness and the appropriateness or correctness of the method and material, a decision should be taken that which material and which method should be used for repair. The materials required for repairing should be selected and the equipments necessary for the work should be mobilized, because for a particular method you may need some special equipments. So after deciding the material and the method, then all necessary equipment has to be mobilized for the work. As a number of new materials and methods are now available, the choice of material methods are very important. And what is the way to select? As I told you that first is cost effectiveness, then the appropriateness or correctness of the material and the method. As many times the repair work may have to be taken up without vacating the premises or closing down the activities that are going on in the premises, the services of the experienced engineers and artisans should be utilized for such works. Nowadays it is very frequent that repair and maintenance work is going on, whereas the people are still residing in the premises. In some part or in some portion of a building, the repair and maintenance work is going on, and the rest of the portion of the building which is not damaged or which has not deteriorated, in that the people are still living there. But in such cases the proper care should be taken, services of experienced engineers should be taken, and also the skilled artisans should be involved in this work, so that there is no accident by any way. So in this lecture we discussed about the concrete, different defects in concrete, causes of defects, what may be the preventive and remedial measures, how we can repair the concrete works, damaged works, then what were the problems in sanitary fittings and plumbing equipments we discussed also the floors, what defects may be in the floor and how we can ensure a defect-free flooring. So that way all these we discussed, and I hope you must have enjoyed this discussion. In our next lecture we will move to defects in different materials, and first I'll discuss with you the defects in timber. So thank you.